The Book Thief, written by Marcus Zusak, takes place in Nazi Germany during World War II. It tracks the journey of a young girl named Liesel, aka the Book Thief. We are introduced to Liesel on a train traveling down from Munich to Malmö by our narrator, Death. Yes, the Grim Reaper himself tells us the story of the Book Thief. But why? How is an entity like Death able to tell us Liesel's story? Death is able to tell us Liesel's story for two main reasons. Liesel experiences death way too much for a young girl, and also she wrote an autobiography. On the aforementioned train ride, Liesel's younger brother, Werner, dies. Death, the narrator, watches Liesel as Werner is hoisted into the grave. Liesel digs her hands into the snow, understandably distraught from the death of her brother. As Liesel is dragged away from her brother's tombstone, something catches her eye. A book, the Gravedigger's Handbook. Death recounts the Book Thief's first stolen book. When the dragging was done, the mother and the girl stood and breathed. There was something black and rectangular lodged in the snow. Only the girl saw it. She bent down and picked it up and held it firmly in her fingers. The book had silver writing on it. After the Book Thief strikes for the first time, she is taken to her foster parents, the Hubermans. Hans Huberman becomes an important character in the Book Thief. How does Hans affect Liesel's life, for better or for worse? When Liesel arrives in the Huberman household, she experiences frequent nightmares of her brother's death. Death tells us what Hans does in reaction to these nightmares. He came every night and sat with her. For the first couple of times he simply stayed, a stranger to kill the aloneness. A few nights after that he whispered, "Shh, I'm here. It's all right." After 3 weeks he held her. Trust was accumulated quickly, due primarily to the brute strength of the man's gentleness, his there-ness. The girl knew from the outset that Hans Huberman would always appear mid-scream, and he would not leave. Hans affects Liesel positively. They read together. Hans plays the accordion for her, and they act as father and daughter. The accordion did not used to be Hans. It used to belong to Erich Vandenberg, a fellow soldier and friend of Hans during World War I. He died in battle, but saved Hans' life. Erich volunteered Hans to write letters while everybody else went to die in battle. Feeling indebted to Erich, he tells the Vandenbergs if they ever need him to do anything, he will. This promise becomes hiding Max from the Nazis. Max hides from the Nazis because he is Jewish. He writes 2 books for Liesel, The Standover Man and The Word Shaker. How do these books represent the life of a Jew during the Holocaust? What is the intent of them? This quote from The Standover Man does a good job of explaining Jewish life during the Holocaust. Many years later, I needed to hide. I tried not to sleep because I was afraid of who might be there when I woke up, but I was lucky. It was always my friend. Max and Liesel have a good relationship. This is what The Word Shaker is about, as the following quote supports. One day, however, she met a man who was despised by his homeland, even though he was born in it. They became good friends, and when the man was sick, the Word Shaker allowed a single teardrop to fall on his face. The tear was made of friendship, a single word, and it dried and became a seed. And when next the girl was in the forest, she planted that seed among the other trees. She watered it every day. Overall, I'd give The Book Thief a shoulder shrug. I didn't like it, I didn't dislike it. I think others would find The Book Thief much more interesting than I did. For those of you who haven't read it, I suggest that you give it a try. I didn't mention any of the story arcs involving Rudy, Frau Holtzapfel, or Isla Hermann. For anyone who is interested in the Holocaust, this book is a must read.